So hello and welcome to the Code Maven channel. My name is Gabor. I organize these events because I think it's very important for people to be able to share their knowledge, and it's very useful for everyone else to learn from other people all around the world. I myself usually teach Python and Rust and help companies introduce testing in these two languages or introduce these languages. And that's it basically. This channel is mostly with now with videos from these meetings. I am really happy, Leah, that you agreed to give this presentation in our meeting, and thank you everyone for joining us here. If you are in the Zoom meeting, then feel free to ask questions. Just remember that it's going to be in YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, and if you enjoy this video, then please like the video and follow the channel. And later on, we'll have below the video links where you can contact Leah as well, if you are interested later on. So now it's your turn. Go ahead. Welcome, Leah.
So hopefully you can see my screen. So my name's Leah. I'm currently living in the UK. I'm a data scientist in the UK.
Wait a second. Maybe it's only just me, but I can see all the list of the people who are joined. Is it on your screen or it's just mine? No, it's I think you're sharing that one. Wait a second. Maybe it's mine. No, view. Yeah, no, it was mine. Sorry. Sorry, confusing you. Okay.
It's okay?
Go ahead. No, it's okay. It was on my screen. No,
okay. Yeah, so I'm a data scientist for the UK government. I'm currently living in England. I'm hoping to move to Israel soon, so it'd be nice to meet everybody. I'm going to talk today about Streamlit, which is a Python library, and how I use it to deploy machine learning models and just build web apps. I'll put my contact details in the chat if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or follow me on GitHub. Be great to connect. And please feel free to ask questions as we go along. I can see the chat, so if you want to put messages in the chat or come off mute, whatever you prefer. So Streamlit is a Python library. It's open source.
Just one note. I mean, right now we can see both you and the slides.
Oh, okay.
So maybe you want to turn off your camera or just show the slides, because in the recording you will be seen anyway, probably at the top right corner. That now I can see myself.
I'll share again. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was on a strange. I think I was messing around with the settings before. Okay.
Oh, now it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me know. So you can see just like the slideshow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many of you have ever perhaps worked on a data science project, you've built a machine learning model and you've wished you could deploy it quickly for others to use, or perhaps you've built a web application, but front-end development isn't really your expertise, it's too complicated. So this is where Streamlit really comes into its own. It makes it easy for Python developers and data scientists to create beautiful interactive web apps without needing any front-end development expertise. So it's lightweight, it's really easy to use, doesn't require hundreds of lines of code. And there's a really strong community online. So there's people building add-ons constantly, and there's also a strong community of people happy to answer questions and help if you have any issues. So Streamlit allows you to turn your Python scripts into interactive web applications in just a few lines of code. So you don't need to know any like traditional web frameworks like Flask or Django. You don't need any HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. It's all Python. You can easily customize your web application using like sliders, buttons, checkboxes, making it interactive, and you're able to capture user input too. The app automatically updates when you're coding in whatever IDE you prefer, like Visual Studio Code. As soon as you update the code and save it, then it updates in the actual application. I'll do a demo of it a bit later so you can see exactly what I mean. But that just like makes development much faster, so you can see your changes as you go along. And it works really well with other Python libraries, popular ones like NumPy, Pandas, Plotly, even data science ones like TensorFlow and scikit-learn. So it enables you to visualize data. You can build dashboards, graphs, charts, and also integrate machine learning models directly into your application. So a bit about deploying machine learning models. So often in data science, you put a lot of work into creating a model. You've got your data, you've cleaned it, you've built a model, you've tested it, optimized it, you've evaluated the performance. But the real key is to kind of surface that to your end users or your clients. And using Streamlit makes it easy. It's quite a user-friendly interface, and it can handle resource-intensive tasks. And it's easy to deploy as well. A basic workflow could be something like loading a pre-trained model from a pickle file or something from Hugging Face or TensorFlow. Collect input from users. So as soon as they could enter some text, if it's like a chatbot, they could use some sliders, and then it uses the machine learning model to make predictions and display the results to users. So I've created a couple of examples of what it can do, just like kind of basic. One's a dashboard and one's uses a pre-trained machine learning model. I've taken some screenshots, but I think it'd be better to just show it live. So I'm just gonna have a go at showing live. Can you see the
I see the editor.
Because yeah, the code.
Yes.
So I've just pre-built like this very basic dashboard. What it does is I've got some dummy data about British culture. I thought I'd make it relative to me. And I've just put it into a...
One thing, maybe you can enlarge the font a little bit.
Yeah, let me
yeah, thanks.
zoom it.
I think so. No. Oh, okay.
Oh, too much.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's good, I think.
Pardon?
I think it's fine now.
Okay. So in the terminal, I just use the command streamlit run. So I do streamlit run and then the name of your file. In this case, it's in the app folder and it's called English share.py. And it takes a couple of seconds and it should pop up in like your browser. So here you can now view Streamlit app in your browser. It's popped up here. And here's the very basic app that I built. In the top right-hand corner, you see it running. And then there's an option here to deploy if you're ready to deploy it. Oh, what's this? Oh dear. If this doesn't work, I will just show you the screenshot instead. Okay, so I've saved it here, and you'll see an example now actually of how it updates in real time. So I've updated the file, the source file, and you see in the top right hand corner now, there's an option. I'll just zoom in and make it a bit bigger. But it says source file change, and it gives you the option rerun. And you can click always rerun, so I don't have to click that every time. So if I try that, and it's worked now. So this is just like a basic application. There's a drop-down menu here, so you can select the category. If I wanted to just see landmarks, I can see that. For some reason, it's giving me error. Sport. And the size of each bubble is the size of visitors per year, and you can hover over it and it gives you a little bit more information. Then if yeah, I think the matplotlib bit is broken at the bottom. So that's one example. The next application, let me just cancel this. I'll just do Control C. Let's run another. This is more of like a machine learning one. So I'll just run Streamlit run and spell check. Oh, I know why it's giving me an error because I haven't installed the packages. I'm actually just using Poetry Library, which it's not sure how widely it's used, but it's a third party. It's like it's not an inbuilt. Typically, you might manage your libraries using your dependencies using like requirements.txt file, and then have create a virtual environment. But I've got used to using Poetry, which is another like dependency package. So that's just to clarify exactly what it is. Yeah, that's not working. So let me just show you on the slideshow. Sorry. What this is it imports text blob, which is a very lightweight kind of natural language processing library. And what happens is you put in your spelling, so you put in some text. In this case, I'm so bad at spelling, spelled really wrong, and then it returns the correct spelling. And then in the top right, you can see it's very kind of simply, there's only like 16 lines of code. It's quite lightweight. And I've put a link here to more community projects. So you can see on the Streamlit website, they've actually got community projects, so you can kind of get an idea, a flavor of exactly what's possible. So this one's quite cool. This is like a map application that somebody's built. It's called Pretty Map, where you kind of visualize maps in like different cool ways. But just so you can get an idea of like, it's quite personalizable. It doesn't have to look like all the applications don't necessarily have to look the same. Sorry, I've gone too far. Okay, so I wanted to talk about deployment, because I mentioned there's different options to deploy. Just gonna wait for the slides to kind of sync. Not sure. Okay, there we go. There's a couple of different options. You could deploy locally, which is kind of what we've done just before we could do the Streamlit run. But in most cases, you want to deploy it to a cloud or your servers. So there's Streamlit has its own kind of built, like customized deployment option called the Streamlit Community Cloud, where you can deploy straight from GitHub. But it also supports other deployment options like Docker, AWS, and all these other options. Another benefit of the community cloud is you can it provides you with analytics data, so how many people have clicked onto your dashboard, total viewers, most recent viewers, timestamps of people's last visits, so you can kind of get an idea of when people have used your application. So I wanted to talk about the testing framework in the app. This is something, last time I gave this talk at PyWeb in Tel Aviv, someone asked me about testing, and I thought, oh yeah, I've not really used the testing framework, so I thought I'd put a section in here to show you kind of how I've done it. So Streamlit has its own, you can use PyTest and those usual kind of testing frameworks, and Streamlit has its own framework which enables developers to build and run headless tests, which executes the app code directly, so it simulates that user input and inspects the output for correctness. For those who don't know, headless tests is like a way to run automated browser tests without having like the user interface. So it's a more efficient way of testing the application because it doesn't need to like render the HTML. It just sends requests to the server the same way like you would do in a browser, and it's much faster because you don't need to wait for a page to load, and it integrates well into your like any CI/CD pipelines you might have as well. So an example of testing. So on the left-hand side, I've written what might be a more traditional way to write a test. So you would import Streamlit and also import TextBlob, which is the library I mentioned before that we used for the spell checker. You kind of set up the app just as it appears in that, just as what you've to kind of mirror what you've written, and have some simulated user input, and then load the text blob, and then run the text blob library to generate the correct spelling, and then have an assert to ensure that it's what the output is what you've expected, is that it should be the corrected spelling of what you've inputted. But on the right, all you need to do is install the Streamlit testing framework with app test. App test is what simulates the running of the app, and it provides different methods to set up, manipulate, and inspect the app via the API instead of doing it in the browser. And then I've just written a function to test the spelling. So you've got app test, which runs the application as if I was running it in the terminal. It simulate an input of the incorrect spelling and run that, and then assert that the corrected text equals the corrected spelling. And then I've just written a couple of other tests. This next function just asserts that the application is running and not producing any exception errors. And then this one tests that the title is displaying the correct title as we've expected. So you'll see it's much quicker, it's fewer lines of code, and you can just run it using like in the terminal using PyTest as you would like any other testing. You can add multiple pages to an app. So you kind of create a new pages folder in the same folder where your application is running. And then you can whatever you name the file is what kind of appears on the sidebar, and you can amend the content as you would like any other application. I've put a link in here just so you can kind of I was going to show how to it gives a good example rather than me like setting up lots of different ones, but you can kind of see it's got a good kind of demo page. Here it's got a hello page, it's got a plotting demo. Yeah, you can have a look in your own time if you like. Sorry, my computer's running super slow.
So I was just speaking while muted.
It also supports chat input. So, oops. So if everybody wants to build their own chatbots nowadays, and it provides support for that, where it kind of mimics a user and it's got like an assistant with these like different emojis, so as if you were speaking to a person, similar to kind of, like ChatGPT's got an assistant kind of answer. You can also like stream the reply, how ChatGPT kind of streams it or writes it word by word instead of just giving you an answer right away. As if somebody, just to like make it look like somebody's typing. You can add a delay as well of like a couple of seconds to make it seem like it's thinking about a reply, and different things like that. So this is just an echo bot which just echoes whatever you type into it. Obviously not using any large language models, but you can use kind of any large language models that you want and kind of just plug it in to a Streamlit dashboard. So finally, just some additional features which I've added kind of some links to. So as I mentioned before, it's got like a whole wide range of different input widgets, and I didn't kind of include them all on the dashboard because I think that this page actually does it in a nicer way. You can see it's got different buttons, checkboxes, feedback options, radio buttons, sliders, numeric inputs. Yeah, I could just go on, but pretty much, anything you would need to build a nice looking app, it's got. Another thing is status elements of like progress bars, loading, call out messages, but error boxes I've used before. I can't say I've used the balloon ones, but that looks fun. And it also has integration for like interactive maps, as we saw before, like the map application that and it's also, you can build interactive charts with like Plotly and other similar libraries. You can cache large data sets, so particularly when you're working with machine learning models, you're often dealing with really, really large data sets, which you can cache into memory. So rather than reloading like a data set each time, it can just store it in memory. From a safety point of view, I just looked at the privacy policy and took this fourth bullet point straight from the privacy policy, which is Streamlit cannot see and does not store any information contained inside Streamlit apps like text, charts, and images. But as general advice, I would say not to expose sensitive data unless you, you can unless you're kind of like it's locked down, it's in a safe, secure environment, and you've got like full access to controls. And ensure your app is also protected from malicious input like SQL injections, because you know, any application is susceptible to being hacked. So I guess just be wary of, this is probably no different either to malicious input like that. But yeah, that's all I prepared for now, but happy to answer questions and go into more detail on different bits. But thank you for your time and happy to answer any questions.
So thank you for the presentation. I heard it the second time. I really like the testing part. I always think about testing when whatever I try to show. If anyone has questions, then please ask now. We can also, after the recording, after we stop the recording, we can stay around and have a conversation without the recording. But anyway, it seems that there are no questions now. So, Leah, thank you very much for this presentation. If you'd like to add anything more, I mean, I'll have the links below, also the video. So thank you for giving this presentation, and thanks everyone who was attending and everyone who was watching. So please remember to like the video and follow the channel, and see you at one of our upcoming events. Bye bye.
Thanks, bye.